Hello, Professor Kent Lee here. In this video, I'm going to talk about vowels, how they are produced in the mouth, and especially the vowels of English. And at the end, I'll mention vowels in other languages too. So, vowels, by the way, I'm going to use these symbols for the vowels of English. These are the correct IPA symbols, the International Phonetic Alphabet. This is an international system of symbols, phonetic symbols used by linguists to accurately describe any and all possible sounds of any human language. I'm using the correct IPA symbols for English. Some of you might be in countries where books and dictionaries might take shortcuts or some simplifications, which might be confusing, especially for vowels. That is unfortunate because it's better to use the correct symbols, and I will use the correct symbols. Some of you might actually be confused about how vowel sounds are produced, certain vowel sounds. Because of that, I'm going to use the proper IPA symbols. So let's look at a vowel chart here. This is kind of a diagram of where vowels are made in the mouth. With vowels, we can describe vowels primarily in terms of height, that is, whether they are high or low in the mouth, or front and back. And let's take a look at a vowel chart here. This is an IPA vowel chart, and I've modified it a little bit for English, and I've cut out the vowels that are not relevant to English. So we have vowels that are kind of high in the mouth. That is, the tongue position is fairly high, E, like E, or your tongue is high up there, and mid or lower. And some vowels are pronounced in the front, mainly in the space maybe above the tip of the tongue, or maybe in the kind of the middle of the mouth, or maybe in the back of the mouth. And so we can describe vowels as front or back, or occasionally central, and then high or low, several degrees of high and low. We also, especially for English, will talk about tense and lax vowels. That's a distinction that's kind of important for English, and it's kind of unique to English in a sense. Now, some other features that books will mention are length. So in some languages, pure length is important, like E and E. Not so much in English. Instead of length in English, we mainly rely on tense and lax, which is related, and I'll explain that in a minute. And then for some vowels, there's a crucial difference in rounding, lip rounding, where the lips are round, and that makes a difference with a couple of English vowels, and it makes more of a difference with more complicated vowel systems like European languages. So let's take a look at our chart again, and let's go to the high front vowels. These are in the front of the mouth. That means the tongue is pretty high, so they're high vowels. You got E, and then that is often in a lot of books written with the letter I with two dots or colon. Fun fact, English vowel spellings are screwed up. We used to write the E sound with the letter that we now call I, the A sound with a letter we now call E, the A sound with a letter we now call A. It's messed up. The British messed it up back in the 1500s, 1600s. English underwent something called the Great Vowel Shift, where A became A, the letter A became E, and the letter E became I, at least in stressed syllables. It's called the Great Vowel Shift. There are lots of videos on YouTube and internet articles that will explain it. It's messy. I won't get into it here, but basically, in the Latin alphabet, in every other language that uses the Latin alphabet other than English, the letter A is A, but in English it's A. And in every other language, the letter A is A, but in English it's E. And in every other language, the letter E is E, but in English it's I. And then the English O is O, and the letter U of English is U in most other languages that use the Latin alphabet. So IPA is particularly based on European languages, and especially the vowels here. So the E vowel, that's the front high vowel, E, And then the one right below it and a little bit over is I. And that's a different vowel. So the E is like beat and the I is in like bit. So contrast bit and beat. They're different. And you might immediately recognize your first instinct based on what you've learned of English. If you've learned English as a second language, is to think, okay, beat is longer. True, yes, but that's not the crucial distinction between bit and beat. And there's a similar distinction going on between bet and bait, bought, boat, wooed, and would. Wooed, the past tense of the verb to woo. Well, it's not primarily length. There, yes, it is length, but the length is a result of something else. And it has to do with the tense lax distinction. What is the tongue? The tongue is a muscle. What do muscles do? Well, a muscle can be lax. It can be tensed. Okay? Tense, lax. The tongue is a muscle too. It can also be tense or lax for certain vowels. And that's a distinction that isn't really used very much in a lot of other languages, but English uses it. By the way, beef tongue is delicious. Have you ever tried beef tongue? I mean, the tongue is a muscle. And so cow tongue or beef tongue, it's delicious. I've had it at a couple of restaurants in Europe. It is really good. It's like steak. But it has sort of this, it tastes just like steak, but it has a sort of tough, somewhat chewy texture because it's a big muscle. Yeah, don't be grossed out. It's really, really good. Try it. If you like meat, you gotta try beef tongue. It's delicious. Because it's a big muscle, so it feels like you're eating a giant muscle because it is. Okay, so your tongue is a muscle. It could be tensed or lax. So for E, it's tensed. E. Because of that, it's held longer. And sometimes books will write it with E and then the colon or two dots, or maybe E with another symbol to indicate it's a long vowel, and it kind of glides off into E, into something like very similar E, sort of a yes sound that you don't really hear. You're not aware of it, but linguistics books will usually use symbols that indicate this. We'll just use the simple symbol E for this. The bit vowel is short. It is because it is relaxed. The tongue is relaxed. So actually your tongue is maybe not quite as high, not quite as forward in the mouth because it's relaxed a bit. It's relaxed. Pretend you're at the dentist and you got the pain shot in your tongue, your mouth is numb. Okay. It's short because it is lax. The tongue is relaxed. That's the primary difference. It's not primarily because of the length. I mean, otherwise there would be other languages where you have E, where you have E and E. But it's not. It's E, I. Beat, bit. Beat, bit. Tense, lax. Practice it. It's a very important distinction. It makes difference in a lot of words. Beat, bit. Reach, rich. Very important because so many words in English can be distinguished by this. Also in some languages a lot of languages that have E, it's maybe a short E. So like in Asian languages, like Korean and Japanese, yeah, of course you have E. I mean, most every language in the world has E. So for Korean, for example, E is a little shorter than in English. So the word ki in English and the word ki in Korean, it's the same sound, but in Korean the syllable is a bit shorter, ki. But ki in English, ki, in fact, it kind of sort of glides off at the end. Ki, a bit of a glide off glide, ki. And that's really important. So your E's need to be longer. Your I needs to be shorter. English speakers might misunderstand you if you don't tense your E and hold it long enough, or if you don't relax your tongue and make the bit vowel short enough. I know for a fact from like Asian friends of mine who have had misunderstandings, like trying to say like a sheet of paper, and they don't hold it long enough, or they don't tense their tongue and hold it long enough, and they get misunderstood. Embarrassing, okay? Be careful. It's a very important distinction in English. If we go to the back of the mouth, there's the oo, like in Luke, and as in look. Very similar distinction. Oo is tense, is lax, relaxed. Is shorter. Now, there are a lot less words in English with the lax so this distinction is maybe not as crucial, but they are different sounds, completely different sounds. So, for example, a parent is going to say to the child, I might say to my son if he's misbehaving, "Look, I am your father." But if you're Darth Vader, you get to say, "Luke, I am your father." Look, Luke. Long. It's the long tense vowel. Is tense. And it's also has this sort of off-glide quality. It's longer than the in maybe Asian languages and some other languages. And you get a similar effect with the A. So compare bet and bait. Now the bait is longer because it's a double vowel. So bet is a short vowel. It's a single vowel. We use that symbol epsilon for that particular sound, bed and bet, the bet vowel. The bait vowel is longer because it's actually a double vowel. It's an A plus an E. So we don't have a pure A in English, a pure long A, like most other languages do, like Spanish and German. A, beten in German. English, it's got this glide. The A glides into an E. They're together. It's a glided vowel. What we call a diphthong. The term is a diphthong. A diphthong is a double vowel. And some of the vowels in English are long because they're diphthongs. Bait is a diphthong. So it's important to say bait. It might be misunderstood if you don't say bait. If you don't make it long, and it's long in this case, it's because it's a double vowel. A, eight, bait. Bait is the correct pronunciation, and that's different from bet. So there's a length difference because the A is a double vowel. Similarly, bought is a short vowel, and boat is a long vowel, and it's important to make the O sound. It's a double vowel. It's an O and an U. O. It's an important length difference. O. If you're trying to say, I bought a bot. Oh, what, a robot? No, a bot. Like a sailing bot. Oh, you mean a boat. A boat. And it makes a difference with a lot of words. And I'll make another video where I give some more examples. I bought a boat. Oh, it's a long O. It's a double vowel. So a lot of languages have, of course, an O and maybe an U. Well, put them together. O. Boat. It's a long vowel. Those are important differences in English. The length difference, there is a length difference because vowels are either tensed or because they're kind of doubled. In all these cases, we can also call them glided vowels. So we've got these important features: tense, lax, or length distinctions. Then height in the mouth, and then front or back in the mouth. So let's go through some of these vowels of English. So we've got the I, so the bit, so the bit vowels, which are kind of high up in the mouth and they're at the front of the mouth. Come a bit down, the A as in bait, and then come down a little bit more, the bed, which you probably know from your language, bed or bet, the bet vowel. That vowel is not hard. Then the A, like bat. And that's tricky for some like Asian students. You pull your jaw down lower, like imagine the doctor sticking that thing in your mouth, making you go, okay, bad. Like a bad bed, a bad bat, okay, bat. Then the stentor vowels, there's mainly that upside down E, we call it a schwa. The name is schwa. That's a name from Hebrew because it's an important vowel sound in Hebrew. So linguists call it a schwa. And the thing below it, I don't worry too much about. That's more of a British sort of version of a schwa for certain context. I won't really talk about it here. The schwa is extra short. It's an extra short sound. It's very quick. You often may not hear it if you're not used to listening for it, because English has longer stressed syllables and shorter unstressed syllables. And then in the back, you've got, of course, oo and like look, or food, foot. Then you've got the o, boat. Then coming down a little bit further, a little more toward the bottom, the o, like in bought, and like in but or hut. So those are together because is really unrounded version of o. Bought, but, unround your lips. Okay, so but, bought, but. So you're unrounded your lips, especially in American English. The lips are really unrounded. In British English, the lips are slightly rounded for the like in but or hut, but it's still clearly different from the o sound. Now, I'll talk later more about how that's different from the schwa. Then finally, down at the bottom, you've got like in father. Then, of course, there's some other diphthongs, and those are easy. The I as in fight, the oi as in boy, the ow as in fowl. Okay, not too hard. Glided vowels, again, note the vowels that are glided or longer. The bait vowel, A, and the boat vowel, O. Those are glided. The A glides off into an E. The O glides off into an U. O. And then also the U vowel, and then of course the E vowel is also sort of glided, but in a different way. It's the E is just held longer. E, beat, key. So those are these are the long vowels of English that you need to pay attention to. Now let's come back to the schwa, and then that this back unrounded vowel, like in hut. How are they different? They sound very similar, especially the American English, where the lips are really spread or unrounded. Hut, compared to the schwa, like the, about, okay, a boat, about a boat. That's very quick. They're very similar. These two vowels are very similar, but the schwa is very quick. It's very lax. And so it's in the center of the mouth and very short. Like in hut, it's kind of a regular length short vowel, normal short vowel. Or butter, and in the you get this. There are different variants of the schwa, which I'm not going to get into here, but there's sort of this R-colored schwa variant, like spelled with ER or vowel R, like butter. So here, butter. So notice the difference in the length of the syllables. Butter. The first syllable is a regular length, butter, and the second one is very short. And so Asians are not used to this difference in syllable length with unstressed syllables, and so Asians understandably have a hard time with English, because in Asian languages, a lot of Asian languages, each syllable is about the same length. So if you're wondering why you have trouble with listening to English, sometimes it may be because of that, and it's not your fault. It's a totally reasonable, understandable, difficulty. You're not used to the different lengths of English syllables, and you probably need to do more careful listening, or listening while reading the text of something, like some pop songs that are not too fast, to become more used to the rhythm. This is part of the rhythm of English. We have long vowels that are really long, and then we have like short vowels like and ah. Then we have the extra short schwa, like in the. And it's hard to hear sometimes. The boat, a boat. I bought a boat. About, okay, about something. Those are the English vowels. Now let's talk about vowels of other languages, just for fun, because this is fun. Go back to the high front vowels, like the E, the beat vowel, and the bit vowel. There are versions where those are rounded in a lot of European languages, French, German, Danish, Swedish, etc. And in German, for example, it's spelled with the U with the 2 dots above it. So the tense long one, Ü, Ü, like Bühne, and the lax Ü, like in dünn, dünn. Or in the long one in French, rue. The long one also in Chinese, yu. A number of languages have this yu. It's like E with the lips rounded, and some languages like German also have the lax version, ü, bün, dün, dün. Then the A, like bait, we'll take the pure A, not the glided English A, but pure A, like in other languages. So a lot of languages have this pure A that's not glided, A. And then you round your lips and you get Ö, like in French, Ö. In German, Ö in German is spelled with the O with the 2 dots, Ö. Then there's a short or lax version. So the long one, Ö, like hören in German. Then there's a lax version, like the bed vowel with lip rounding, like Goethe. And a lot of languages have kind of this back O. It's not O, but O, like in German, O. It's kind of very rounded, O. And an unrounded version of that, like in Chinese, hun, gun, he. A lot hard for me to say by itself. The schwa, if you take the schwa and you round your lips, you get the French, like in je, the, je. Now that thing that looks like an upside down M, that is an oo that is unrounded. So it's not lax, it's just unrounded. Take your lips and you spread them, and that is a sound in Korean, the Korean in some other languages, Now you take the ah, like in father, and you round your lips a lot, and it's really deep and low, like oh. So the main language I know of this is actually British dialect called Cockney, which is spoken by the working class people in London. In a Cockney and other British dialects, you get this very rounded oh. So like bottle becomes bottle. I bought a bottle. Your lips are very rounded. Those are the vowels, basically. And those are kind of fun, aren't they? I think they're fun. There are a few other vowels which I can't really say that well, so I'm not going to put them here. There's something like a Russian vowel. It's sort of like the Korean, but it's a little more central. I'm not very good at that. So there are some other vowels you can look into if you want to. Those are the vowels. They're distinguished principally by the tongue position, high or low, and whether they are produced more in the front or the back of the mouth, and some kind of tense or length distinction in English, and in some other languages there's a tense or length distinction that's also important, which may not be the thing in your language if your first language is something else. And then sometimes rounding, especially if you're studying European languages, there are a lot of extra vowels that have where you have rounded and unrounded versions. That becomes important too. So I hope this helps you with English or with learning some other language that you might be having fun with, French or German or such. So good luck with that. I hope this helps, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.